If you're getting distracted during everyday tasks and it's throwing you off and it's making you less productive or less efficient, the first thing before we get into like training the mind and maybe introducing longer meditation or whatever the case may be, the first thing to do is notice what's distracting you. If there's specific things that keep distracting you, like I'm working right now and suddenly I'm like, "Oh, I remember that YouTube video," or let me just like click onto YouTube and check who's posted something or on Instagram or check my phone. And if there's specific things over and over and over, easiest is just to set up guardrails so that you don't do it. And that could be an app like freedom.to. You can set up timing so during your work hours or maybe even 24 hours a day, you can just block those sites. That could be one way. The other way as well is not doing that and then using that impulsive, habitual, like jumping to something else that the mind does as a way to retrain your mind. So you could go from like, again, I'm working, working, working. Suddenly I want to check YouTube. I notice the impulse to check YouTube and I don't do it. And I come back to working. In the same way as when you're meditating, let's say you're focused on the breath, you notice that your mind has jumped up into thought and it's falling down this rabbit hole of thought. And you just notice it and come back to your breath. So you're training the mind like in meditation, but all the time, or at least when you're working. So doing that, you're going to be training this sort of focus muscle. And that's what's going to make you more efficient, like by default, all the time in everything that you do. So that's the first thing that you could do is notice, okay, what is making me distracted? Notice when my mind wants to jump towards that distraction and then just bring it back onto what I'm doing. That's how you like retrain your mind. And then, of course, you can introduce, like your question was, should I do longer meditation? I'll never say no to that. To a point, there is a point of diminishing returns, or you could be practicing too much in some cases. I don't get the impression that's the case. So if you want to go from 20 minutes to 45 minutes or 45 to an hour or whatever the case may be, like, yeah, go for it. And that will help for sure. But I wouldn't say that's gonna help you more than just noticing exactly what's distracting you and either cutting off access to that thing, or my preference would be treat that like another way to train the mind. Notice when it wants to go to that distraction and then bring it back onto the thing that you're doing. Do that for a week or 2, and your mind is just gonna be fucking stronger. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Like, it can't not be. If you do more bicep curls, assuming you're not like dramatically overtraining, your biceps are going to be bigger and stronger. So this is the bicep curl for the mind. You just bring it back, bring it back, bring it back. And then eventually it just settles. Those impulsive habits of the mind, once you starve them out, they die. And then they no longer distract you. But when you feed them with your attention, they grow. And so what you need to do is just starve them out right now.